The day I was supposed to marry Chloe Lancaster, her old flame, Liam, was getting married in the ballroom next door. Right as we were about to exchange rings, he burst into our ceremony. With tears streaming down his face, he confessed that Chloe was the one he truly loved, not the terminally ill woman he was about to marry. In that instant, Chloe dropped my hand and ran off with him. My reputation was destroyed, and the shock sent my mother to the hospital. Later, my eyes met with the other jilted bride. I heard myself ask, "So, feel like trading up for a new groom?" 3 years later, Chloe reappeared, sobbing about how much she regretted it. I, however, was busy lifting my twins, a boy and a girl, out of their car seats. "Excuse me," I said, juggling Leo and Luna in my arms. "I'm in a hurry to pick up my wife from work." As I turned, I found myself face to face with a ghost from my past, Chloe Lancaster, my ex-fiancée who had abandoned me at the altar. Instead of moving, she blocked my path. "Whose kids are these?" she demanded, her voice sharp. I kicked the car, door shut with my foot, unwilling to engage. But Luna, with her arms wrapped around my neck, asked, "Daddy, why is that lady so mean?" Chloe's face soured. "Why does she call you Daddy?" she asked, her voice rising with agitation. "I was only gone for 3 years. How could you have kids this big? Did you have them with someone else right after I left?" I gave her a calm, steady look. "What did you expect? That I'd stay celibate for you?" Chloe and I were childhood sweethearts, products of two prominent families who had been intertwined for generations. A match made in Manhattan high society. But she always had a thing for Liam. I'd offered to call off the engagement, but she refused every time, insisting she had feelings for me and wanted to marry me. I believed her. That is, until Liam knelt before her at our wedding, and his tears washed away any commitment she ever had to me. She tossed our rings aside, and still in her wedding gown, walked out with him. The scandal was humiliating. My family and I became a laughingstock. People who had always been jealous of me whispered behind my back, calling me the backup plan, the doormat. The stress triggered my mother's heart condition, landing her in the hospital. I hated her for it then. I couldn't believe, after 3 years, she had the audacity to show up again. She, in turn, seemed shocked that the once mild-mannered man she knew could be so cold. As I tried to walk away with my children, she grabbed my arm. "Noah, can we talk?" Before I could refuse, my phone buzzed. Leo expertly fished it out of my pocket and hit the speakerphone button. My wife's cool, melodic voice filled the air. "Hey babe, where are you? You're late." I had already told my wife, Anna, that I was bringing the kids to pick her up. Her timing was perfect. Later that night, as I was telling the kids a bedtime story, Luna looked up at me with her wide, innocent eyes. "Daddy, does that mean Lady have a crush on you?" Before I could answer, Leo chimed in from the side, "Of course she does. Daddy's handsome." I had to hide a smile. I told them not to mention any of this to their mom. Anna and I had 3 years of peaceful, happy marriage, and I didn't want any unnecessary drama. But the drama found me anyway. When I went back to our bedroom, Anna was already in bed with her back to me. I dimmed the lights and slid in next to her. She immediately rolled over and pinned me down. "Well, Noah, I didn't know you were so popular," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Can't even walk down the street without beautiful women throwing themselves at you." "How did you know?" I stammered. She pinched my cheek. "Your two little spies told me everything the second I walked in the door," she said. "Those little traitors. Are you upset?" I sighed. It was Chloe. Since she already knew, there was no point in hiding it. Anna's jealousy flared. "She abandoned you so cruelly. I bet she's regretting it so hard right now," she said, pinching my cheek harder. "Noah Carter, if I find out you're getting tangled up with her again, you're dead meat." In the soft light, Anna was breathtakingly beautiful. I was overcome with emotion. I wrapped my arms around her waist, pulling her on top of me. "You're the only one for me. I would never get involved with anyone else." I spent the rest of the night proving it to her. With a woman like Anna in my arms, I have to be an absolute idiot to still be thinking about the toxic ex who threw me away. Unfortunately, even when you don't want to invite trouble, trouble finds you. Chloe tried to contact me several times, but I ignored her. Finally, She got an old classmate to organize a get-together, using a college reunion as a pretext. The classmate called me just as I was dropping Leo and Luna off at preschool. It had been a while since I'd seen old friends, and the chosen venue was one of our family's hotels, so I agreed. It was just a casual thing, so I threw on a t-shirt and shorts and headed out. But when I walked into the private room, I froze. Chloe and her one that got away, Liam Prescott, were there. Right, they were both in my year at NYU. If I'd known they were coming, I would have at least put on a better shirt. I pulled out a chair and sat down. Before I could get comfortable, Liam started in with a snide tone. Well, if it isn't Noah Carter. What's with the shabby look? I thought your family was loaded. I couldn't be bothered to respond to him. He'd always been an ass. I never understood what Chloe saw in him. Chloe and I had gone to the same schools our whole lives. At NYU, she majored in English Lit, and I went to the Stern School of Business. I thought we'd graduate and get married, a seamless transition. But then Liam showed up. He was in the English department with Chloe. He was good-looking, knew how to charm girls, and would drop lines of poetry to pick them up. In a department full of women, he was a king. He never committed to anyone, just kept a string of girls in a state of ambiguous flirtation. A classic player. There were even rumors he'd gotten a girl pregnant once. I thought Chloe would have been smart enough to stay away, but it turned out she'd had a crush on him for years, idolizing him as some kind of romantic hero. On our wedding day, Liam crashed the ceremony, crying that he'd finally realized Chloe was the one he loved, not his terminally ill fiancée. We were in the middle of exchanging rings. I gripped her hand tightly, begging her under my breath not to leave, to at least wait until the ceremony was over for the sake of our families. But Chloe, always spoiled and impulsive, threw the ring down. I'm sorry, Noah. I can't marry you. The person I love is Liam. She pulled her hand from mine, took his arm, and walked out of the ceremony in her white wedding dress. I'll never forget the sight of her back as she left, not out of nostalgia, but out of sheer, burning humiliation. As one of the most eligible bachelors in New York, I was publicly jilted by my childhood sweetheart. That's not a memory you easily forget. Seeing me ignore them now, Chloe deliberately patted Liam's arm. Liam, stop it. It's kind of sad, really. I heard he got kicked out of his family home. He doesn't have a job, so it's understandable that he's dressed like this. We shouldn't make fun of him. I was a bit confused about where she'd heard all that. Then I remembered. After she blew up our wedding, the stress sent my mom to the hospital. My dad, furious, kicked me out of the house and told me to go figure my life out and not come back until I had. He also cut me off from the family business, telling me if I couldn't make it on my own, I could forget about inheriting anything. For a while, things were genuinely tough. So, that's what she was talking about. Liam's smirk widened. He picked up a bottle of high-end red wine from the table, opened it, and poured a glass. The aroma filled the room. I had a friend ship this over from a boutique winery in Napa. It's fantastic. Everyone should try some. He looked pointedly at me. You too, Noah. I bet it's been a while since you've had anything this good. Some people just beg to be put in their place. I quietly gave an instruction to the waiter, who nodded respectfully and left the room. This hotel was mine. Or, more accurately, it was a gift from my wife, Anna. While I was having my disastrous wedding, a similar drama was unfolding in the ballroom next door, orchestrated by her. Liam had pursued her relentlessly. On their wedding day, Anna, who always suspected he was after her family's money, told him she was terminally ill. She added that she'd left most of her fortune to charity, with just a small trust for her parents. Liam immediately bailed and ran to my wedding to pull his heartbroken act on Chloe. After they left, I ran into Anna, still in her wedding dress. On a whim, I asked her, so, feel like trading up for a new groom? And just like that, Anna and I got married. We were incredibly happy, and soon she gave birth to our twins. When she found out my father had cut me off, she handed me the keys to this hotel, one of the jewels of her family's portfolio, and told me it was her dowry. If I ran into the ground, she'd kick me out. Luckily, I studied business. In just 3 years, not only did I keep it profitable, I opened several new branches. My wife was very pleased. Now, to have someone acting so arrogant in my own hotel, well, they could only blame themselves for what was coming. The door opened, and a waiter in white gloves approached me, carefully holding a bottle of wine. "Mr. Carter, your 1982 Chateau Lafite Rothschild." A hush fell over the room. My classmates looked at each other, stunned that they were about to drink such an expensive wine at a casual reunion. A single bottle of this cost more than a dozen dinners here. Liam's eye twitched. "Mr. Carter? What kind of boss is he?" Chloe looked equally incredulous. "Yeah, I thought you said he didn't have a job. When did he become a boss?" Liam, now convinced this was some elaborate act I was putting on, decided to call my bluff. "Hey, waiter, did he pay you to do this? I'll double whatever he's offering if you tell me the truth." The waiter shot Liam a look like he was an idiot. He probably couldn't fathom how his actual boss had such moronic friends. "Sir," he replied politely, "this hotel is indeed one of Mr. Carter's properties. He owns 11 others, just like it across the country. Our company offers excellent salary and benefits. Even for double the pay, I wouldn't consider leaving." With that, he uncorked the Lafite. The rich aroma instantly dwarfed Liam's Napa wine. The room erupted. Everyone started praising me, saying how impressive it was that I'd built such an empire without relying on my family. I accepted their compliments graciously, though they meant little. The world is a simple place. When you have money, people flock to you. When you don't, some will go out of their way to kick you when you're down. Liam stared at the deep red wine being poured into his glass, his eyes redder than the liquid. He downed it in one gulp, a flush creeping up his face. The alcohol seemed to have fueled his arrogance. "So what if you're rich, Noah? You're still all alone." He wrapped an arm around Chloe's waist, his tone a smug challenge. "The woman you love still ended up with me. A washed-up gold digger? He could have her." I gave a dismissive, cold smirk. Liam must have taken it as a mockery. He slammed his glass on the table. "I know what you're doing. You're just trying to show off how much money you have. It's just money. What's the big deal?" He was spiraling, sounding more pathetic with every word. I couldn't tell if he was genuinely drunk or if years of frustration were finally boiling over. Liam's family wasn't well off. He'd been picky about girlfriends in college because he was looking for someone rich and influential to advance his career. That's why he targeted Anna, only to be outplayed at the wedding. When he thought Anna was broke, he switched his focus to his backup, Chloe, but he didn't know that the Lancaster family's business had been struggling for years. If not for my family's support, due to our long-standing ties, Chloe wouldn't have been able to maintain her lavish lifestyle. Her stunt at the wedding had also mortified her parents. They refused to acknowledge Liam and grew distant with Chloe, especially since she had a younger brother. Now, all their attention was focused on him, leaving their daughter, who had run off for 3 years, to fend for herself. Looking at Chloe now, I noticed her dress was a style from 3 years ago. Her jewelry was also out of season. For a girl who grew up with every luxury, this was a clear sign. Their last 3 years must have been rough. With that thought, I nonchalantly swirled the wine in my glass. All alone? I have 2 kids. You, on the other hand, might want to keep a better eye on your precious girlfriend. Make sure she's not trying to get back with a married man and make you look like a fool." The color drained from Liam's face. He whipped his head towards Chloe. "You want to see him?" he hissed. Chloe shot up from her chair. "I just remembered I have something to do. I have to go." It was a textbook guilty retreat, but Liam wasn't letting her go. He caught up to her in 2 strides and grabbed her wrist. "I'm asking you a question. Why are you avoiding it?" He pointed a finger at me. "Are you still hung up on him?" Chloe's expression hardened. She yanked her hand away. "Yes. So what if I am? I regret leaving him." With nothing left to lose, she unloaded on Liam. "What do you have besides empty words?" "Nothing. It's been 3 years. How much money have you actually made? All you do is play video games and watch TikToks of girls dancing. You live off me, and you have the nerve to laugh at others? You're pathetic." Liam's face turned beet red. "Then why did you cheat on him and crawl into my bed?" He spat back. Chloe's eyes widened. She tried to cover his mouth, but it was too late. Both of them looked at me. I suddenly felt like the punchline to a very bad joke. So, she had cheated on me while we were still together. And here she was, acting like a saint the whole time, not even letting me hold her hand. Meanwhile, she was sleeping with him behind my back. Their public meltdown was a spectacular case of mutually assured destruction. Chloe, humiliated, ran out of the room. Liam shot me a venomous glare before chasing after her. Once they were gone, a sense of calm returned to the room. "Well," I said to my stunned classmates, "let's drink." The party quickly regained its lively atmosphere, but my mood was shot. While everyone was busy chatting, I slipped out for a smoke. I didn't expect to see Chloe and Liam still there, arguing on the sidewalk outside the hotel. I couldn't hear what she said, but I saw Liam raise his hand and slap her hard across the face. I flinched and took 2 steps forward before forcing myself to stop. She brought this on herself. I wasn't getting involved. I looked down and continued to smoke, but I discreetly pulled out my phone, ready to dial 911 if things got out of hand. That was as much as I was willing to do. But then Chloe saw me. She ran towards me and threw her arms around me. I stumbled back, nearly falling over. "No, I was wrong. Please forgive me." She sobbed, her tears and snot smearing my t-shirt. It was a limited edition shirt my wife bought for me on a trip abroad. I frowned, annoyed. Chloe misinterpreted my expression as pity and cried even harder. "I missed you so much these past 3 years. I keep thinking about when we were kids. I was so blind to fall for a monster like Liam. You saw him, he hit me. Noah, please forgive me. Let's get back together. I'll do anything you say." I held my cigarette far away from her, avoiding any contact. I saw hotel staff craning their necks to watch from the entrance. My heart pounded. Everyone here knew me. If word of this got back to my wife, I wouldn't be sleeping at home tonight. I pushed her away. "Get a grip, Chloe. I'm married. I have 2 kids." But she clung to me like glue. "I don't believe you. You love me. I know you do." Liam, watching from the side, was seething. He stormed over and kicked Chloe hard, sending her sprawling. In the process, she tore a small decorative piece from my shirt. My brow furrowed, which only enraged Liam further. He swung a punch at me. "Carter, I've been wanting to do this for a long time." I dropped my cigarette and caught his fist. The feelings mutual. Old grudges and new insults finally boiled over. I wasn't going to take his crap anymore. I swung back, landing a solid punch on his jaw. We tangled, trading blows, but his sloppy fighting was no match for me. Suddenly, a sharp female voice cut through the air. "Stop it." I recognized the voice instantly and let go. In that moment of hesitation, Liam managed to land a punch on my face, splitting my lip. I hissed in pain. Anna strode towards us on 10-centimeter heels. Seeing my injury, she didn't hesitate. She slapped Liam so hard his head snapped back. He was furious and about to retaliate, but when he saw the rage on Anna's face, he froze. "Anna, you're not." He stared, speechless. Anna smirked. "You were going to ask why I'm not dead, right?" She raised an eyebrow. "If I hadn't said I was terminally ill, I never would have known if your feelings for me were real or just an act. You lied to me?" Fury gathered in Liam's eyes. "You tricked me." Anna crossed her arms, looking him up and down with contempt. "I was just giving you a taste of your own medicine, wasn't I? Weren't you doing the same thing to me? Only with me for my family's money." Liam's face went pale. He looked past her to me. "So you married him?" Anna turned to me, and in her eyes, I saw a clear warning. I immediately stood up straight, a cold sweat breaking out on my back. I was, without a doubt, completely wrapped around her finger. Though Anna was a head shorter than Liam, her presence towered over him. After being duped by a scumbag, was I supposed to stay single and cry over him forever? God, I love my wife. Even our comebacks were identical. Her words, however, sent Liam into a rage. "You're shameless." That desperate for a man. Before he could finish, I snapped. I lunged forward and kicked him hard in the chest. If our earlier scuffle was just a spat, this was different. He insulted my wife. He was asking for it. I proceeded to beat him senseless for the next 10 minutes, hitting him harder than before. He was powerless to fight back, curled up on the ground as I landed punch after punch. Anna stood by, watching coldly with her arms crossed. It was only when the sound of sirens grew closer that I stopped, got up, and calmly walked over to the police, pointing to my bleeding lip. "Officer, this man publicly assaulted a woman, harassed my wife, and then punched me in the face. I was acting in self-defense. You should arrest him. The police looked at my bruised mouth and then at Liam, moaning on the ground, and seemed to ponder the situation. By the time we got out of the police station, it was dark. To my surprise, during her statement, Chloe had backed up my story, not Liam's. She even claimed he had been abusing her for a long time, showing them bruises on her body. I felt a brief pang of something, but it vanished. She chose this life. No one to blame but herself. Chloe hurried to catch up with me. Noah, she said, her voice choked with tears, can I talk to you for a second? I was about to say no, but I saw Anna give me a cold, hard stare from the curb. Handle it. Quickly. She then walked to the car and got in. I figured she was right. It was better to clear the air once, and for all, than to let Chloe keep harassing me. You really married her? Chloe asked, her eyes red and swollen. In the past, I would have melted, stroked her hair, and agreed to anything. Not anymore. I now understood that her tears, her pleas, her vulnerability were all just tools of manipulation. Once you see the trick, you don't fall for it again. Yes, I said calmly, one hand in my pocket. You saw. We have 2 wonderful kids. Our marriage might have started as a chaotic accident, but we were a perfect match. In a way, Chloe, I should thank you. If you hadn't left me for Liam, I never would have met my wife, and I wouldn't be this happy. Tears streamed down her face. But what if I still love you? What if I can't forget you? She cried, covering her face. I raised an eyebrow, my voice devoid of emotion, my words precise and cruel. That's only because your life sucks right now. If Liam loved you, gave you a life of luxury, and treated you well, you never would have thought of me twice. I glanced at the black sedan waiting by the curb, imagining Anna's cool, beautiful face behind the tinted glass. Because that's how I feel about you. Her crying stopped for a second, then resumed with even greater intensity. I had no interest in listening to her regrets. If I delayed any longer, Anna would really be mad. Take care of yourself, Chloe. Don't contact me again. I turned and walked away, leaving her to her tears in the cold night. Once in the car, I slid over next to Anna, ignoring the driver. Honey, she kicked my shin. Get away from me. You stink of cheap perfume. I sniffed my arm. She was right. Chloe's breakdown had left its mark. A real shame about the limited edition t-shirt. I peeled it off, balled it up, and stuffed it under my seat. Anna closed her eyes and ignored me for the rest of the ride. I huddled by the door, small and helpless, trying not to provoke her further. But despite my best efforts, I was locked out of the bedroom that night. As I stood pitifully in the hallway with a pillow, Leo and Luna peeked out of their room. Daddy, did you make Mommy mad again? I forced a tragic smile, trying to maintain some dignity. No, Daddy just has some work to do. They exchanged a knowing glance. Daddy, lying isn't nice, they said in unison, then scampered back to their room. I sighed and went to the small bed in my study, unable to sleep. I don't know how long I lay there before the door creaked open. In the moonlight streaming through the window, I saw Anna in a white nightgown. My heart skipped a beat. I sat up. Anna. She shot me a look and tossed a tube of ointment at me. For your lip. I knew she was all tough exterior and soft heart. Seeing her offer an olive branch, I immediately grabbed her hand. It hurts. Can you put it on for me? She looked down at my shameless, pleading face, and her stern expression finally broke into a reluctant smile. Let's see if you dare to go around collecting hearts again. I'm innocent. I protested. She silenced me by dabbing a generous amount of ointment on my mouth. The bitter taste made me cringe. The rest of the night passed in a comfortable silence, from her gentle care to the unspoken understanding in our eyes, turning the cool moonlight into something warm and intimate. The last time I saw Chloe was at the hospital. She was there for an abortion. She had finally broken up with Liam, but not before getting pregnant with his child. I saw her leaning against the wall, pale and weak, as she slowly sat down on a bench. I felt a complicated mix of emotions. When she saw me, she instinctively tried to look away, but there was nowhere to go. She forced a weak smile. Hey, small world. I had one hand in my pocket and a thermal container in the other. My wife's about to give birth. I'm bringing her some soup. My words seemed to drain the last bit of color from her face. We stood in silence. I nodded and walked past her. But as I turned the corner, I heard a quiet sob. I sighed internally. Just as I was about to leave, I heard an angry shout. "Chloe, are you serious? You're really going to get rid of my child?" I stepped back and saw Liam appear in the hallway, wielding his briefcase like a weapon. He slammed it into Chloe's head. Already weak, she collapsed to the floor, a cut opening on her forehead from the corner of the briefcase. Blood started to trickle down. Liam stood over her, screaming, "It's because I'm poor, isn't it? Have you forgotten how you crawled in my bed? You shameless bitch." He kept hitting her with the briefcase. Chloe curled into a ball on the floor, her hands over her head, her cries barely a whisper. All the arrogance from 3 years ago was gone. The girl who once walked with her chin held high was now as broken as a stray dog. It was a tragic sight. What happens when you lose love, lose dignity? I put down the soup and was about to rush over when 2 security guards ran past me and restrained Liam. As they dragged him away and 2 nurses carefully helped Chloe up, I breathed a sigh of relief. I was about to leave when my eyes caught a large pool of blood on the floor where she had fallen. I realized she hadn't had the abortion yet. Liam's attack had made the decision for her, brutally ending the life of their unborn child. I collected myself and went back to the room. Anna was sitting up in bed, looking over some documents. I walked over and gently covered her eyes. "Still working? Don't you trust me to handle things?" She smiled. "Just wanted to help lighten your load." "You're already giving me another child," I said, taking the papers from her and placing the soup on the nightstand. I took her hand. "That's much harder than any job. You said you wanted more kids, so I agreed this time. But this is the last one. 3 is our number." Anna leaned against me and nodded. "Okay." I told her what had just happened in the hallway. She listened thoughtfully. She was probably hesitating, Anna said quietly. Even if she hated Liam, the baby was still a part of him. "It's a hard choice to make." She sighed. "But it's too late now. Let's not talk about them. It's depressing." I held my wife close, then picked up a baby name book from the table. "All right, let's figure out what we're going to name our 3rd little treasure."